Good morning. Good to have you on the show. You've achieved a threefold jump in sales and 85% uptake on a sequential basis alone. Do you see this kind of growth actually sustaining?
Good morning. Thanks for having me on your show. So indeed, we've had a very good first quarter, and it's been heartening because it's been an all-round performance. Look at residential sales, we look at industrial leasing, we look at collections, which is an important metric, cash collections, and profitability. On all fronts, we've started the year on a very strong footing. I do expect the year to play out well. But I'm seeing very strong underlying demand in both the segments we operate in, the B2C residential business as well as the B2B industrial parks business.
Tell me, are all input cost pressures, have they eased and have things resolved? How is it that you're coping up with that?
Unfortunately, what we read in the papers about the cooling of inflation is not what I see on my business cases just yet. Because, of course, we have longer term contracts on both materials as well as supplies. Therefore, it takes a bit of time for the benefits of the cooling off to knock back into the P&L of the respective projects. But yes, there is a cooling off from the highs, but it is still significantly above the pre-pandemic levels. If you take any commodities, take steel as an example, steel used to be at about 36,000 a ton 2 years back. It went all the way up to 75, 80,000. It's come down to about 56,000, but still significantly higher than where we started from.
Good morning, and I wanted to ask you, because in the first half, during the first quarter of FY23, you signed that agreement to acquire a land parcel. This is in Pimpri, Pune. What about the development plans? What kind of potential are you seeing for this land parcel?
This is a very well located land parcel. It's right on the highway with great road frontage. So we're very excited about the development potential. It offers us roughly in excess of 2 million square feet of saleable area. And we expect a total sales realization of about 1,700 crores from this land parcel. We are working very hard to try and bring this to market within this financial year. And fingers crossed, we should be able to do that towards the second half of this year.
Okay. What about your plans to foray into society redevelopment? What kind of development would be planned out? What kind of revenue potential are you seeing? Have you made headway in that space?
No, ever since we announced our intent to participate in society redevelopment in Mumbai, the phone's been ringing off the hook, to be honest, because that's a space where credibility is very important. Many societies have burnt their fingers in the past, signing up with local developers who then get the society into a stalemate position where they don't move forward with the redevelopment, but the society can't move forward either because they have an agreement or a appointment letter signed with the developer. So societies we are seeing now are being much more selective and cautious about who they would like to invite to participate in the redevelopment process. And in that fray, players like us with the Mahindra brand and trust behind us stand head and shoulders above the peer group. So we are seeing very strong interest. We are in advanced conversations on a couple of opportunities and hoping to close a few of those within this financial year.
All right. Now, given that Q1 tends to be a bit softer, you have, despite that, seen quite strong growth. There's been launches in Bengaluru as well as Gurgaon. What does the launch pipeline look like for the company going forward?
Indeed, Q1 was, we bucked the trend in many ways. It tends to be a softer quarter. But these two new launches that we did, the ones you mentioned, both hit their stride and hit, a very wonderful stride at launch. Bengaluru was a unique product. It was India's first net zero energy homes. And Gurgaon was a much awaited product. It's the last phase of our development there, where there has been a lot of interest and pent up demand. So both of these did extremely well at launch. Going forward, we expect to launch further phases of existing projects as well as new projects. Like I mentioned, the new land acquisition in Pimpri in Pune, but also the one we've done in Kandiwali in Mumbai. We are hoping to bring into the market in the second half of this year.
Right. Your first net zero energy project, that is Eden, received a good response. Tell me a little bit more about it and whether or not you're planning to go energy efficient in your next projects as well.
In fact, we've taken a public pledge that by 2030, all our new developments will be entirely net zero, not just net zero energy. This will require us to be net zero water and net zero waste as well. So it's a very tall ask, and honestly, there's a lot of work to be done to get there. But to my mind, a tall ask is worthy of a player like us. And if we don't apply our minds to it and carry the ecosystem and the industry along with us, it would really be a shame. So we are very firmly on that path to get to net zero. And you will see every successive new project that we do will start moving the needle in that direction.
And, you know, we've seen demand as well increasing. So what kind of pricing strategy have you put in place? Do you think that there will be some further price hikes down the line? And if so, if you could give us a sense as to what the timeline is?
So there's two paths to our pricing strategy. One is a basic discipline that we've instituted, which is every quarter prices will go up between 1.5% and 2% across our portfolio. And this is very important to give confidence to early buyers, because why would a customer buy early if he doesn't see value appreciation over that life cycle of construction? So that's kind of a baseline increase that we do quarter on quarter. We then get very tactical depending on how a project is performing. If it's done well in initial sales, we look to take price up faster. So we've had situations where within a quarter, we've been able to take price up anywhere between 5 to 8%. And you know, it's almost become like hotel room or airline seat pricing, where we are able to do yield-based pricing.
Okay, just a quick question. Any guidance that you can give us for the coming quarters, a quick outlook?
You know, we don't give guidance for quarters and years ahead or the current financial year, but we have stated publicly that by 2025, we would like to be doing 2,500 crores of residential sales and 500 crores of industrial leasing per annum. So one could interpolate between today's numbers and that as the path ahead.
Arvind, great having you on the show today. Thank you so much for taking the time out and joining in on ET Now.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Okay, that's the